pasuk says, "V'ganta levincha bayomahu leimor ba'avor zeh asa Hashem li v'tzeisi mimitzrayim." Pasuk tells us that when the Jews sit down to eat, to have our seder, we are supposed to look at the matzahs, the maror, the pesach, and say, "Ba'avor zeh," because of this Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. What does that mean? So Rashi explains that the pasuk is telling us not that we eat the matzah and the maror because Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. Rather, what it means is Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim because we ate the matzah and the maror. Rashi doesn't explain what the idea behind that is, but the Ibn Ezra says a fascinating concept that we learn from here. He says that there were some who learned the pasuk that what it means is that the opposite way, meaning the pasuk is telling us that we eat the matzah and the maror because Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. But the Ibn Ezra says, like Rashi says, it's not true. Anyone who learns the pasuk that way, they're flipping around the meaning of Hashem's Torah. What Hashem is saying is we were taken out of Mitzrayim because we ate the matzah and the maror, and that's emphasizing that Hashem gave us these mitzvahs of matzah and the maror, so that if you mekayim the mitzvahs, then you can come out of Mitzrayim. But why was that? Why did Hashem insist that in order, if you want to get out of Mitzrayim, you have to eat the matzah and the maror? So the Ibn Ezra says that Tam lahotzianu Mitzrayim rakli avdai. Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim for the purpose of avodas Hashem. He took us out of Mitzrayim to be His nation. He didn't take us out of Mitzrayim for the purpose of physical freedom. He took us out of Mitzrayim to become His nation. And He says, listen guys, you want to come out of Mitzrayim? Great. But you're coming out of Mitzrayim to become my nation. So show me now, already in Mitzrayim, that you can listen to my mitzvos. If you can do a little bit of mitzvos today, then you're able to come out of Mitzrayim, because this is the entire essence of our relationship. This idea that Ibn Ezra says on the pasuk is one of the most central themes of the Haggadah and of Pesach, is that we remember that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, He redeemed us, took us out of Mitzrayim, but the purpose of coming out of Mitzrayim ultimately was to become the nation of Hashem. The Barbanel comments in his Perush the Haggadah. He wrote his Haggadah at a very difficult time in Jewish history, and it was after the Girush Sfard, after the Jews were kicked out of Spain. And he went to Portugal, and he went to here, and he writes in his Agama how the Jews went from place to place to place, and he describes the destruction that he saw in his lifetime. And he feels the pain of the Jews, and he says the Jews probably feel, you're sitting at a Seder, you're sitting on the run having a Seder, maybe we should go back to Mitzrayim. Maybe it was better. Maybe it was better in Mitzrayim than how can you celebrate Pesach coming out of Mitzrayim, physical freedom, when I'm sitting here running on the run? Who knows? Maybe I'm going to be burnt at the stake tomorrow. And there are many times in Jewish history that the Jews probably felt this way. You're telling me about I'm happy I came out of Mitzrayim. No, get me back in Mitzrayim. So says the Barbanel, the same idea. The whole purpose of our Yetzias Mitzrayim was becoming the Am Hashem, becoming for the Avodas Hashem, to become the nation of Hashem. That's our purpose. And that was never taken away from us. That's what we have today. We may have gone, unfortunately, the Jews have gone through many points of the Jewish history where the suffering, who knows, may have been worse than it was in Mitzrayim. Who knows, maybe it was. But that's not what we're celebrating. We're celebrating the fact that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim to become His nation. The whole essence of the matzah, we eat the matzah. And the matzah, the pasuk says, is chipazin. Yitzhak Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim b'chipazin. He took us out in a rush. What does that mean? He took us out in a rush. So the pasuk says that when Bnei Yisrael coming out of Mitzrayim, that the Mitzrayim kicked Bnei Yisrael, the Jews out. Lo yachlus mameh. They couldn't wait any longer. Well, why couldn't they wait? The Mitzrayim had to kick them out. So the Balbim says, and other Mefarshim say, that what the pasuk is telling us, Hashem orchestrated the events in such a way that Bnei Yisrael need to get out of Mitzrayim at that moment. And why? Some Kabbalistic concept, which I have no idea what this means, but that Bnei Yisrael were at a time, they were in the Memtesh Shari Tumah, they were in the 49 Shari Tumah, and had they been in Mitzrayim for another second, game over, they would have been stuck. That's a Kabbalistic concept, I have no idea what that means. But the Malbim says this Kabbalistic concept has an extremely important relevance to understanding the entire Yom Tov Pesach, and it's the same concept. I have no idea what this means of the Shari Tumah, but I do understand that it's true. That had Bnei Yisrael been in Mitzrayim one more moment, they never would have been able to get redeemed spiritually. So what? So Hashem still take me out of Mitzrayim. So what? I would have been, had we been stuck there, we would have gone to the 50th Shari Tumah. I never would have gotten out of there. So, but still take me out of here, Hashem. I don't want to be in bondage. Says the Malbim, the Torah is emphasizing that the whole purpose of Yetzias Mitzrayim was not for your physical freedom, it was for your spiritual freedom, to become the Am Hashem. So had their Bnei Yisrael stayed in Mitzrayim for one more moment, they would have sunk into the 50th Shari Tumah, where they couldn't become spiritually redeemed. There's no purpose anymore for redemption. And that's the whole essence of the matzah. They're called Chag HaMatzah, is to recall that Bnei Yisrael needs to be taken out of Mitzrayim in that moment. And when you remember that, you remember that the whole purpose of Yetzias Mitzrayim was for the Avodas Hashem. I hope this idea comes to heart as we integrate it with our entire Yom Tov and focus. The entire Yom Tov of Pesach, the focus should be on understanding the spiritual freedom that we were able to gain.